Hello and welcome to my world of crochet. My name is Stine and this is going to be a yarn talk video. As you can see, I've actually finished a project here, which is my barrette, which I made in this lovely ice yarns. And actually I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. And I'm very pleased with how you can really see the different variations of the colors, and I do believe that this barrette can easily be used with with like any sort of winter jackets, garments, like regardless of this being brown, black, gray, or whatever winter coat you might have. So I'm actually very happy with this result, and it's something that spices things up, and it's not just your standard beanie. So yeah, this is basically it. But I'm only saying this in the very beginning, of course, because you can see that I'm wearing it. I totally forgot to mention we can't have any yarn talk videos without my lovely tea, which today is just a standard blend of a black tea flavored with lemon. So I'm going to take off my beanie, or barrette, sorry. So you can see it a little bit closer, and because it is still kind of warm here, so it's a little bit warm to wear because it contains wool in this mixture. And it's basically started in the center where you have worked in the round and added double crochets into the stitches and increased the amount of double crochets in the spaces, which makes these kind of puff out like this, and also increases the extra width. And then you decrease the size going back in here, and then you make some rows of double crochets to make the part that's actually going to be sitting on the head. So this is going to be a really, really nice piece, I believe, for this coming winter. And to go with it, sometime here in September, I'm of course going to crochet a scarf that matches straight up with it in the same ice yarns here. And I'm not going to do this right now because this yarn is reasonably warm to work with, so I need the temperatures outside to cool down a bit, because while I do enjoy summer, we actually don't really have air conditioning here, so it can be a little bit warm to work with yarns that contain wool. And this yarn is 19% wool, it's 11% acrylic, and then it's 70% polyamide. And you can see the wool because it does have a slight bit of halo, which is the wool, of course. And it's like, it's made in this sort of, maybe we can see if we can see it. It's this sort of chain net construction. Need to get my camera to zoom. There we are. It's a little bit of a chain net construction. It's a really lovely yarn to work with, but it's horrible to flog, really. It's really, really horrible to flog. I might make a review of the yarn later on, if you would like that, like a more in-depth review of it. So that's at least on the planning, that I'm going to make a scarf that matches the hat I made. And I'm actually really, really pleased with that hat. Good. Another project that I have finished is the baby blanket, which I actually have said for so long that I'm going to make a tutorial for. And here it is in its all full beauty, and it's the perfect size to go as a blanket in a baby wagon or a crib or the like, for the really small ones. The challenges in regards to the tutorial I wanted to make for it is that I went through all my footage of making this blanket, and I've kind of discarded most of it and been like, you can't see half of it what I'm talking about on this videos, and it's not really ideal at all. I'm actually rather disappointed about the footage I've made, and my goal is, if I do release tutorials, is that these tutorials must be making sense, and they must be really good at explaining, etc. and they're just not. So either I will have to make a new recording of all the small aspects of making this blanket, or I just simply, because it's more basically, it's just a pattern or a stitch that's been used, explain how I make the stitches for this shell stitch. And basically, you know, it's just a question of knowing how many chains goes to the repeat, so you can like make your own decision on how wide and how narrow you want the blanket. And the length basically is just a question of how many rows you add to it. The more rows you add, obviously, the larger it gets. So I do think I would make a tutorial, but it's more going to be around the actual stitch I've used for this. And then like in a smaller piece as pure example. And here, of course, you have the brand full piece, which is a bit too small for you to see. It's about 60-ish centimeters wide, so the row length is about 60 centimeters and the height of it is about 70 centimeters. So yeah, that fits nicely in its intended purpose for a small baby. I am going to wash it and I'm going to block it to make it look nice. Do still let me know if you would like a tutorial at least for the stitch and how you can turn the stitch into a blanket like this or similar. You don't of course need to use the same colors nor the same yarn or the same way of changing the colors in the sense of that it has to be 3 colors. It doesn't need to be striped. I'm sure its stitch could also work out nicely with variegated yarns or with just 2 different stripes or with 4 colors or whatever, depending basically on what you want. But let me know in the comment box down below if you would still want me to make that, because then I most definitely will. I just had this project laying for so long and I realized how horrible the recording was that I had made for it, because it's still some of my very, very first recordings of attempting of making tutorials, and I'm like, oh my god, Stina, you cannot put this on YouTube. It makes no sense, and it needs to be meaningful. It needs to be quality, at least something I have a good feeling about releasing and sending out. Good. I have another project that I'm it's a good day today. I have another project that I'm working on, which you guys already know something about, which is the lemon blossom cardigan. So this is basically how far I've gotten. It's starting to look like a cardigan. Now I'm going to hold it up a bit. You can see here, it's more like a vest right now. A bit short vest, but a vest. The size I'm making is for a 4-year-old or 3 or 4-year-old child. It could probably be smaller, I don't know. I do crochet tightly. I will have to measure it. I don't even have a small child I can test on. But what I've done until now is basically, including the little yarn left here, is the first skein. And I am about lengthwise here 1/3 of the final length, so it's gonna be like this maybe. And right now it's just basically crocheting back and forth in this lemon peel alike stitch, which is giving a really amazing texture. And it's basically just single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, going through, alternating. And of course, at the shoulder areas, the extensions made to make room for the shoulders and arms is made in the puff stitches, which you can see here. Whoop. And those went easier to make than I had expected. So far it's going really nice. So once I've of course added all the rows, I first need to add some more yarn or start on a new skein ball. Then I will continue down here in the sense of I'll just extend it. Once the extension is done, I will add sleeves, because this cardigan comes with 2 long sleeves to go with it, and it will need a little something here on top to be able to close it. It's really, I love the texture. It's really soft yarn to work with. It's actually surprisingly nice to work with. The yarn I'm using for it is this Yarn Art Jeans, which is it's a fine yarn. It's a fine weight. And for this project, I'm currently using crochet hook size of a 4mm hook. So a bit specs about this yarn is that it's a 50-gram ball, and on these 50 grams you get 160 meters, and it's 55% cotton and 45% acrylic. Next to this, we should have some more specs somewhere. Next to this, it can be washed at 30 degrees Celsius, which equals about 85 Fahrenheit. And it's colorway 88. And I would personally call this like pastel yellow. It's a really nice yellow. And it's very short. This is most definitely not the last time I'm going to work with the Yarn Art Jeans. Though the only yarn the only jeans are bad day again. I'm trying to keep track on my tongue. I will need to buy more yarn if I want to work with it again, but I most definitely will work with this again. So eventually there will be a new yarn haul containing this yarn, but I'm really happy with it. And if you want me to, I will also be very happy to make a review of this yarn sometime again out in the future. And then I'm preparing for a new project, which I mentioned shortly in my last yarn talk video, which is making myself a poncho. And this poncho I found a few months ago, but I don't really need that many ponchos in the summer because I feel warm enough, usually at least. And this summer has been, for Dutch terms, quite warm, and it's been quite sunny and very dry right now actually. It's so dry here that the river, which is about 2 or 3 kilometers away, it's the lowest height ever since they started measuring. And my parents were visiting me, what is that now? 1.5 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, approximately. And it still hasn't rained. And it was dry when they were here, and it was still pretty low. And we went to the river, and we went down walking on riverbed that's basically normally in a normal year we would never be able to set our foot on, at least not dry. But it's not a river I would want to walk in any ways because it's reasonably deep, and the stream is the current is pretty strong. And if you do go to the very edges, you can actually see how it goes down pretty deep, and there's a lot of boats sailing there with cargo and so on for transportation. But there are less right now because, again, there's not that much water in that river. It comes from Germany. That comes with all this melting water from the Alps. But, you know, the fact is just if it's not raining, raining in the summer is also a part of the water that gets added to it. But that's a completely different story. I was going to make this new poncho for myself, and I have found the most gorgeous yarn to do that with, which is Hobby Twister yarn. Whoops. And it's this lovely Storm Chaser. And the Storm Chaser is colorway 40, and you can find it, of course, on Hobby. I will link to it in the description box down below for those who's interested in this yarn. In fact, it's on sale right now at Hobby website. And I just ordered a few more cakes of Hobby, so you will, of this Twister yarn actually, so you will see a new yarn haul video next week when it comes. At least I hope it comes next week. I don't expect it to be delivered. I'm recording right now, it's Friday. I'm not expecting this to be delivered on Saturday because that's too soon, or that would be, well, of course it would be amazing. I actually expect it to be either Monday or Tuesday next week. So a bit about this Twister yarn is that it's a 55% cotton and 45% acrylic. So that's basically like the jeans here, except it's woven in a different manner. So it's absolutely not the same yarn, but it does have similar softness feeling, though I would say this is slightly softer. So for this fine yarn, which can be washed at 40 degrees, which is a bit warmer than the jeans, you do get 250 grams in this skein, and you get 1,000 meters of yarn. 1,000 meters. So that's a lot of yarn, and it's a nice variegated yarn, as you can see here, from this steel blue, like light steel blue, to a deeper one, which goes all the way out to a navy. This is navy. It's not black. It's navy. So like the shirt I'm wearing is black, but this is black in between. But this is very dark navy. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I cannot wait working with this, of course. And it's Oeko-Tex branded 100. So I'm going to make this poncho out of this, where I will be starting from the middle with the center pull. So it will be light up at the top, and it will go darker as it decreases towards the bottom. And I like my ponchos a bit extra long, and to make sure the size fits and that I do have enough yarn, I am going to combine this. When I get to the end, I'm going to change into the Twister Solid, which is the same coloring as what's here at the outer edge. Boom. And then I get increased length of my poncho with the same color, basically, as what the cake ends with. And this is just a solid navy color. It's the colorway 106, and the specs is basically the same, except for these are only 100 grams, and for these 100 grams you get 400 meters. But the exact same specs, exact same thickness. So this is just basically the solid way of this cake. And that's gonna make my poncho, which I will slowly be starting to work on very soon, that's for sure. And the very last thing I want to say, because this is actually becoming a much longer video than I had thought. I thought it was just gonna be a quick short one, but apparently there's stuff to talk about today, is that I do currently have a giveaway running with some amazing ice yarns, and that's these lovely skeins. This is 100%, they're wool, and it's a tweed yarn, tweed-like style, and this is 50 grams, 110 meters, 25% wool, 5% viscose, and 70% acrylics. And viscose is, of course, what makes these tweed-like specs. And they come in yellow, green, blue, and red. And that giveaway I will also link to in the description box down below. That giveaway is running until and with on Monday. So if you haven't participated yet and you would like your chance to win some of this lovely ice yarns, do go and watch the video and find out how to participate by watching that video. I think that's about it. If you're still watching by now, please know that you have my full 100% gratitude. I do very much appreciate your support, and I very much appreciate spending some time with you guys talking about my own yarn adventures. So yeah, if you haven't yet, do please subscribe to my channel, hit the little bell so that you get notified whenever I post new videos, and give the video a like, of course, if you do like this one. And that's about it for now. I will want to wish you a very blessed and great day ahead, and good luck with your crafting projects. Bye.